Alright, hello everybody. Welcome back to the Tamari's KF2 Summer Showdown CD Tournament. This is Tamari, of course, and bringing you guys another retrospective for the semifinals week. I again have some guests with me. Just going down the list, I have Coco, who is the team captain for Uwu, EtherealDoom, who's also playing on Team Uwu, Jenny XJ9, the team captain for Yolomancers, and then also ZeElmo. Could each one of you just give us a quick hello?
Hello, this is Coco.
Hey, this is Ethereal.
This is Jenny.
Hello, I'm ZeElmo.
Awesome, thanks guys. So yeah, the purpose of this video is just like all the other ones I've done before this, so just to basically just talk about how last week went, and then give a little bit of a preface into the next round, which right now we just got done with semifinals, right? So we're going to be moving into the finals, and there's only two teams remaining right now, which is going to be the Chainstop Enthusiasts and Yolomancers, and that's going to be really exciting. That should be happening probably this next week, most likely. It depends on the teams. If they decide they want to play this weekend, they might schedule. But well, yeah, we'll just see how it goes. But for right now, like I said, we're here to talk about the semifinals. So the first thing I'd like to do is just show the standings from that. So coming up on the screen now, we do have, hold on, there they are. So these are the results of the semifinals week matches from last weekend. We had the Yolomancers playing against Thick Snacking 69, which was the first and fourth seed respectively, and then we had the Chainstop Enthusiasts against Uwu, which is the second and third seed respectively. And as you can see there, Yolomancers did end up advancing to the finals, as did the Chainstop Enthusiasts. And all of those matches were really, really fun. We're going to go into each one of them and talk about how they went and just, yeah, talk about whatever we feel like saying. And we're also going to talk a little bit more in depth about the Yolomancers match in particular, because we actually didn't get to do their interview because of how close the matches were scheduled. So we'll give Jenny a chance to talk a little bit more about things that she wanted to do for her match. Is there anything you guys wanted to say about like anybody, just open floor, about like the overall week, like not necessarily about matches, but just anything?
It was actually a lot of fun to swap between the two scenarios once that got working.
Yeah.
Because I think by like Thursday we were doing like we'd run A and then run B, and then that would be most of our practice time.
Mm-hmm.
So it ended up working out really well time-wise, and was also just really fun.
Yeah, this was a great way to do doubles in a single week because it allows us to consistently practice most of the waves with just the objectives and bosses different.
Yep.
Yeah, that was something that, because I can give some background on why, I think you guys might already know, but for anyone watching this, like why I decided to do it that way was because it just felt like one game just wasn't enough to really differentiate a winner in this late into the tournament, you know? It's like, imagine if like you have two teams playing and then like one of them wipes, and it's like, well, that's it, they just lose. Like, that's it. And it just feels very like anticlimactic, you know, to have one game be the deciding factor. But then it's like, okay, well, if you do two games, if it's the exact same thing, then that's really boring because it's just a repeat, right? And I don't want to do two maps, but only give you 1 week, because 1 week isn't long enough to prep for two maps. Which is why now in the finals it is 2 weeks, right? Because I have a second map. But before I was like, well, how do I do it in 1 week, but make it interesting enough where it's not boring to watch and it's not stressful for you guys, but it also feels like grandiose enough to actually be considered a semifinals match. So that's why I ended up just settling on the scenarios. And I thought about it and I was like, that's actually a good idea, because that'll let me get more of the objectives in the map shown in the game. And in Crash's case, I think I have 11 of them. I think there's 11 in zones. The last 3 that I didn't use, let's just all be happy I didn't use them, because they were utterly shit, like just straight up. Like
The fact that they're worse than the 7th objective up top is impressive.
They're definitively worse too. Like the one of the ones I didn't use was in the middle of the map where the like green sky bridge thing is connecting the two buildings. It's right where you kite through in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a zone right there underneath the green bridge thing. That was one of the zones I was like, yeah, that's not gonna happen, so I just didn't pick it. There's just no way in hell that would have ever been possible to do. I try to keep them all like possible, you know. If it's just like, it's kind of pointless if I just throw in like a stupid objective for the memes. But yeah, that's just a little bit of context of why I did that. I'm happy with how it went too. From my end of things, like I think it worked out pretty well. Does anybody else have anything they want to add?
Not for me.
No? Okay. Elmo, you got anything, or Coco?
Nope, that was just a fun week. But we actually got practice in on Timu this time. Last week we had like 2 hours of practice, so that was not a fun week.
Oh, you mean for Front Yard?
Yeah, for Fright Yard.
Yeah, your guys' schedules are kind of insane. Like, knowing a lot of the players in your team, like especially Damn Guy. I know, like knowing what Damn Guy does for work too. It's like, I'm surprised that guy even has time to do anything. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the challenges, right? Is like dealing with scheduling and getting everybody together, which is why there's even like the 8-hour grace period, right? That was actually something that I kind of just hijacked from the Flux tournament, because we had the exact same thing there. And technically, it would be best to have everybody just play back to back or even simultaneous, but it's just not possible when you have time zones in the mix. Like, it's not, well, it's possible, but it's not as easy, especially since you can't make a full pre-made team. Because if you could make a pre-made team, then you could just choose those players accordingly, where everybody's an NA or something like that, you know?
The 8-hour grace period was also perfect for TSG and us, because their usual time to play and our usual time to play were 7 hours apart. So we didn't even really have to schedule it that hard.
Yeah, that's perfect then. Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things, like, if it was a more serious competition, and I'm not trying to say it's not serious, like, if it was like I don't know, like, maybe there was, like, for prize money or something, right? Some kind of prize pool, which there isn't one, but let's just say there was. And then let's say we had, like, 30 teams or something, then I actually would have to be very strict about it, and I would have to say, you have to do it back to back. But that would also imply that you could choose your team, like I said, so... It was the best way to handle the semi... I don't want to say random, because it's not really random. They're weighted by skill level, right? But like, or experience level, but you don't fully have control over your teammates fully, so it just made sense. Anyway, I think we can probably move on into the matches. Actually, I didn't even say the scores. I'm sorry. So yeah, like I said, Yolomancers did advance They did play against TSG 69, getting a final score 51-78. And Thick Snacking 69, final score 25-35, so Yolomancers did end up advancing to the finals. And then for the CSE and UWU matchup, we had 37-96 against 1971, with CSE advancing. And in just a second, I'll swap my view over to the matches so we can look at the VODs. And by the way, just for you guys, I am streaming my screen right now so you can see what I'm looking at, so we can be synced up with like what we're talking about if you want to look at it.
Yeah, I already have it up.
Anyway, I'm going to swap over now, and then let's go into the matches in the order they were played. So that would put TSG 69 first, so let's do that. Alright, and so here we have the VOD for TSG 69. So who wants to start on this game? Anybody, really, just open floor, we're kind of just winging it.
I'm pretty sure they used the same hold my team did without the secret strat I had.
Yep, TSG 69, Crash A was the alt hold, and they did not use the line of sight cancel for the off map. Freed and I think one of their sharpshooters were just keeping an eye on that back and calling it out as needed. I've watched Illis' perspective, and so that's who the calls were coming from.
Did they not use the alt hold on their second run?
They did not. They used the main hold on their, or did they? No, they used the alt. The main hold wave one. They used the alt hold for both. Yes.
Yeah, that's what I.
Yeah, that's what we did. We used the main hold for wave one.
Yeah, see here they're using the alt hold now, and
yep, they used the alt hold.
Yeah.
Yeah, really leveraging Kusu on that narrow entrance.
Yeah, like Kusu is basically filling the same role that we used Firebug for.
Yeah. The sort of CC control role.
Yeah. I mean, it's really good up on that front lane because it can get so intense.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is the faster spot too, I think, of the two, for sure. Like, I honestly, if you didn't have the back spawn, like, behind where the camera's looking right now, this would definitively be the better spot, I would say, than the other one, because this is just safer. Like, you have the long distance lane up in front there, where you can get, like, time rages and stuff, but you don't have to worry about two different ends, because that's one of the dangers about the main hold, is, like, both sides get kind of equally slammed at times.
Yeah, so I did a lot of analysis on the timestamps, actually, and what I found is that The two holds, they're not necessarily faster than each other. The main hold tends to kill Zeds faster, but has a really crappy hunt phase. You really tend to get horrible stragglers on the last 5. Whereas the alt hold's a little bit slower, but it's a lot more controlled. Uwu ran face first into that problem with the... I see I am too loud. Uwu ran face first into that problem with the main hold. It tends to... the Quint City causes a lot of kites, whereas the alt hold has a much more contained approach to flesh pounds, so it's much less likely to cause a kite, is what we saw.
Yeah.
Another nice thing about this alt hold, which is part of why a couple of our traders were like really, really long, is you basically have 3 holds back to back that you can do. Because if you collapse out of main hold, you take ramp, and then you hold ramp, and when you get pushed out of ramp, you run to spawn, and you take spawn and do the spawn hold. And that's why a couple of our traders are long, because we were doing spares on that hold.
Makes sense.
That does indeed explain your trader times this week.
Yeah, because I noticed a couple were long.
Yeah.
I don't remember much of this match, despite watching at least... I don't know if I watched Scenario B very much, but I know... Didn't they run no Mando Scenario B?
They ran no Mando, no medic Scenario B.
That's so brave.
They
That's
had
so
Sharp,
sketchy.
Support, Zerker, Gunslinger, Demo, Sharp.
That's a really weird and interesting and very dangerous comp.
It was crazy ballsy. They apparently ran it a ton in practice on higher MM and higher wave size fakes too.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah, I can believe it.
They went hard to make that comp work.
Yeah.
Freed really wanted to show that Chaos perks can be competitive, but unfortunately things went a little wrong for them despite how well practice went.
Yeah, Chaos perks can absolutely be viable. It's just that a lot of people haven't practiced Chaos perks, and a lot of people haven't practiced laning with Chaos perks. So while it's getting better slowly over time, especially I think because of Chris, people still kind of side-eye Chaos perks in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
I think a lot of that is just the... Oh, go ahead, Coco. You first.
You said that they practiced on higher wave size fakes and MM?
Yeah.
Well, I think that could also like have been a function of them messing it up, because if you play on a higher wave size fakes, your eco is going to be much better through the early waves.
Yeah.
And Chaos perks honestly need like at least their tier 3-4 weapons to really, really shine. And on wave 2 and 3 without those weapons, it's pretty rough.
Yeah, MJ had to go M79 initially. Which is
You said
not
tier
great.
3. Is the Incin rifle a tier 3? I think it is.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good point too. And also another thing is, I believe I don't remember who said this. It might have been Mr. Failology, but he would know if anybody. But I'm pretty sure ASL was designed to be used with 12, and so like just because you're changing, because if you guys know how spawn cycles actually function, like I know Jenny does for sure because we've talked about this together. But like, the longer the wave is, the more loops the cycle has, right, for each wave. And so we're obviously running the tournament at 6, and the only reason why that's even a thing, by the way, is just because the waves would just take forever. The game would be like 1 hour, 15 minutes average each game if we did that, and it would just take too long. But it does change the economy, like Coco said, and also it changes the spawns, right? Because if a wave has, let's say there's 300 Zeds in the wave, and the cycle for that wave is defined as 300 Zeds, you're not going to get like half the wave by being at 6 wave size fakes, compared to 12. So it not only changes the economy, but it also just changes the wave itself, like how it feels and like what actually spawns. So
yeah,
I'm not necessarily saying like they messed it up or anything, but that does change things a little bit of like, from the real match to the, that's why I have the practice servers, because I didn't want you guys to have to worry about that. I figured I'll make sure that they're synced up for you so that it's literally the same, and all you have to do is just play, and if you feel good on the practice server, you probably will be fine for the match because they're basically exactly the same.
I believe they also ran it a bunch on tourney settings. They were just stress testing by turning up the MM and the wave size fakes.
Yeah, that's fair. I think the main consideration really is just what Coco said. I think that's the bigger impactful one, is the fact that it changes the eco a lot. I mean, you've even mentioned it, I think, yourself, Ethereal. Like,
Well, it depends how they were doing it, because if they
Yeah.
were just like running, like if they bought spares with the commands and then just ran wave 9 and 10, like that's basically just harder wave 9 and 10 at that point.
yeah,
And
they would have
you
had all their
handle
stuff
that,
anyway.
You know, it's like ankle weight training basically.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
would have had all their stuff at that point anyway, so it's really hard to say without having one of them here. Also, ouch.
Yeah, we'd have to have Freed here. We've exhausted my knowledge of the subject at this point.
I feel like another good thing to remember is that Chaos perks generally strive better under higher max monsters
Yep.
settings.
Yeah.
Well, whoa, we know that one for sure with that Demolitionist Monster Ball game. That was silliness.
Oh yeah.
What was it again? I was talking about it with some people last night. It wasn't 144 like I thought it was.
It was
128.
144.
It was
It was
one-
It
144.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. I was in a CD game last night and they said that the record was 128.
It is because our 144 game was disqualified by tomorrow because he felt like it was too cheesy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was just like, I mean, actually, what ended up happening with that was it just didn't record properly. But then I was like, yeah, I'm just not even gonna bother like fixing it because I didn't really feel like it was really well deserved. I basically just abused the shit out of the Destroyer of Worlds exploit and like killed half the wave with just nukes. But that's all to hit the point home that Elmo was saying that they operate better at high MMs.
Yeah.
But that's also not to say either that like you can't make them work at lower MMs or just regular gameplay. I think that's what you were saying about what not Elmo, sorry, Freed wanted to prove that, right? And I think that
Yeah.
there's a point to be had there. And the reason why a lot of people look down on Chaos perks is because just like statistically speaking in the game, like anywhere in the game, not just CD, like they just don't perform as well because people don't really understand the mechanics. Maybe perhaps I'm not exactly sure what the issue is. It could be just players being ignorant, not really understanding that, like, you know, stumbling the large actually does fuck over your teammates, or you can steal Z time extensions. Like, to be honest with you, in the main base game, those things aren't even really something that you need to worry about either. Like, you don't have enough larges to need Z time like crazy. So it just people don't like end up not really learning about it, right? Like learning that it's bad to do that, and then they just hop in, and it's like then that's why people have such a bad opinion about them because most people don't play them properly.
Yeah, also, speaking as Slinger working with Zerker recently, it's really easy to get in each other's way, especially in Z time.
Yeah.
And also, the Zerker charging around will cause your larges to proc to them and start turning, and then you have to compensate for that. So there's a lot of things to think
really
about.
Good at is keeping his Z under control.
Yeah.
I really think that this whole notion about chaos perks is really just a factor of people not practicing chaos perks and not practicing and laning with them.
Yeah, there's
It's
a lot
like-
of responsibility on both ends to.
Because like
Optimization,
top
you know.
is no longer part of the anti-chaos team, and both Ryan and I, when playing Firebug, are able to lane with him really well because we know not to fuck it up too much.
Oh yeah, I'm looking at scenario B right now. I actually forgot how close that got to being a wipe early on in the game. Kusu barely managed to finish the wave. I think it was wave 1 even.
Yep, 5 out of
they
6
nearly
deaths, wave
wiped
1.
them.
Yeah, man, that's crazy. That's like shafted. What even happened that caused that? I don't remember anymore. This is the game when my internet was offline, so I was kind of just like I was watching on my phone and it kept buffering like crazy.
I believe they didn't call a kite fast enough, so they got sandwiched in the back, and everyone just
Ooh,
Yeah, and they lost Illith and
right there.
Freed
oh
to
the husk,
just
yeah,
A Gorfiend
Husk and
started to
Beyblade
win.
early.
A
husk
Gorfiend-
Beyblade.
A Gorfiend
Yeah.
also did the helicopter on like 2 or 3
Oh,
people
that's
at once.
rough. I actually don't
Yeah.
remember seeing this because this is when I was like having problems buffering the stream.
That
Dang, that's
single-
rough.
Yeah.
That single
Yeah,
Gorfiend.
classic
probably did, like,
Beyblade in the
200
husk.
total damage.
Yeah, the blow looks like the blow got MJ too. That's really
Holy
unlucky.
shit.
Yeah, that one bloke got like a triple kill.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate that happens because like everybody's gonna be so short on money after that kind of a.
Yeah, that
Your wipe.
basically wrecks your economy until like wave 7.
But I think they, if I recall correctly, they still managed to recover decently well. They just ended up not being able to finish because of something else that happened later.
Yeah, they managed to get all their primaries on like wave 4. And
Which
then
is still later than usual.
yeah, which is later than usual. It's a wave later than usual. and then their kite on 6 fell apart.
Oh, that's so sad. He
They
was so
had-
close to killing that Scrake.
Yeah, they had miscommunications about dropping that cost them a slinger and a sharp.
Oof.
And then at the very end, people routed away from each other. And the team got split up and cut apart.
Oh, this makes me sad. He was so close. He ran out of ammo right there. I think he only had to shoot the Scrake like one more time, and he would have killed it.
Yeah, like that was so close. He hit
That
so many
sucks.
shots.
Yeah,
You
that's
said that the
really
team
unlucky.
split on the kite?
Yeah, kite starts at 137.32. If you want to jump to that.
Okay.
I have all the major kite times that led to wipes.
Because that's interesting you mentioned that, because there's another team that actually wiped due to splitting their kite.
And
And it
that's
also
CSE.
happened on Scenario B.
Yep.
Yeah, it was CSE, I think, right?
It was,
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, CSE on that, like,
Oh,
5-8.
double kill.
Dude, Illith
Yep.
just can't catch a fucking break with these. You guys see that?
Yeah.
Illith is
That
like
got
coming
double.
upstairs, and Husky's like, nope, get the fuck off my platform.
That double kill crit is brutal.
Yeah, oof,
Yeah.
yeah.
The fact it killed Kusu is actually really bad too.
And the fact that
Freed.
it killed Freed, their 301 wielder.
Yeah, they
Oh.
lost their healer and their
Yeah,
tank
yeah.
in one go, which is
That's
not good.
that's rough.
Okay, I was thinking of the earlier kite where Pineapple and Illith dropped too early and died. That was their, I guess, wave 4 kite, if I remember
What was
correctly.
Freed's loadout anyways?
301, I think he was using Goblin, might have been seen. Let me go back. One to when he's
Yeah, I
alive. Yeah,
believe it
301.
was 301 Goblin 101.
201 looks like right there. I saw it.
Okay.
Yeah, 301 Goblin, 201, which is, yeah, that's completely solid. Like, Goblin is just so good. Like, even with the, like, he and I were talking about, even with the nerf, debuffs are just so good, man. It's, like,
Yeah.
essential to have that. That's pretty much why I was okay with even doing that to begin with. Is like, yeah, the 401's better at healing, but dude, like, I guarantee people are so, like, I said to myself, I was like, people are still going to use this gun because
Yeah.
Heck,
debuffs
in
are so
vanilla,
fucking
the
good.
401's not even as good.
Yeah,
But in the tourney, they're basically equal. They have
Almost
the exact
equal.
same healing sets.
Especially as a slinger, that walk animation will save you.
yeah.
The Skullcracker Hemo stack.
Oh yeah, that's so good. And it makes
It's
hitting
so
them
good.
so much easier.
Yeah. Their
Yeah,
head
it's
stays
insane.
still. They're way slower than you. There's nothing not to love about that combo.
So what was TSG's final score again? I had it up earlier, but I already.
It's 15 something.
TSG's final score, it was a 1963 on the first round,
It was
a
1971.
572 on the
No, wait, no,
second,
it's
for a
Uwu.
total of 2535.
Yeah, 25-35. I actually said Uwu's score.
Yeah, Uwu was 1971 with the double wipes.
Yep.
Or if you go to the general thread, my color-coded breakdown is in there as well.
Oh yeah, it's right here too. Yeah, 25, 35 total. Yeah, so I think if they would have won, because they were going for no medic bonus on the second one. Oh, so two things I want to say. So one, as far as no medic, no commando, that actually was done last tournament in the winter CDMT by K Jewelers, which is K-Man and Boris's team. They actually did no medic, no commando on I think it was Santa's Workshop, and they
thought
kind of
kinda.
they kind of destroyed the run too. Like they had a much easier spot. To be fair, like they didn't have as many inlets into their lanes and everything, but they still played it really well. I think even Ryan was even there too, and he was just spamming C4s. That's kind of where that whole like "that's a lot of meat" phrase came from, because that's the first time I ever said it was during that match, and so it's totally doable to do that kind of setup. But like if no medic runs were already reliant on solid execution, then no commando is even more reliant, and then doing both at once is like insane. I mean, talk about a show match, you know. If you win that, it's like, geez, like you just win the style points right off the bat, you know.
So, remind me, is the NMB factored in the running score ticker?
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's what I was going to talk about next, was that if they had beaten this second game, because they did win scenario A, right? And I think they even managed to do, how many objectives did they do on the first scenario? I think they did like
They did just one.
one, right? Yeah.
Just one. The 9A, that was their own hold anyway.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right here. They have one objective completed, and then in B, obviously they didn't get any bonuses because they wiped. But if they had gotten it done, they were looking to get, I mean, at least 2K for sure, right? Most likely. But they probably would have gotten even more than that. Because, like, look, we're on wave 3, and they still have over 300, or 3,300. And, you know, once they get all the completion points, you can think of every single point addition as being 50% more. So if a wave is worth 100 points, then it's really 150 under NMB, right? And there's, they wiped on wave 5, I think. I want to say wave 6. It was 6.
Wave 6.
Yeah. So if they had completed the last 3 waves, there was another 450 points remaining to get added on from that, and then they would have gotten the rest of their bonuses, which all would have been multiplied by 1.5.
Wait,
So
400 points from what?
from completion, because 3 waves is 300, but it's 1.5x, so it'd be 450, right, for 3 waves.
Yeah. So
My point I was trying to make was they probably would have ended up very, very well. Not I don't know if they would have ended up the same score, but it would have been a lot closer. It just didn't go the way they wanted.
Yeah, I haven't run the what could have been math on them like I did for CSE, so.
yeah, if they, because they're at 32, there probably would have been another 10 or some minutes of time bonus loss, which is 600 points. So that's 200 points gained. Just 20. They probably would have had a score in the neighborhood of. Oh wait, I'm looking at the wrong team again. Shit.
You're fine.
I was looking at CSE. Yeah, I don't know if it would have put them over our score, but it would have been definitely, probably at least over 4K, maybe over 4,500. It would have been much closer.
Yeah, I think you still would have won, but it would have been a lot closer. They would have had, like you said, within like 1,000 point difference. But
yeah,
losing all that health bonus really tanked their NMB.
Yeah, because that's kind of like that's the problem with it, right? Is in order for that bonus to be worth it, you have to have other bonuses with it, right? Because it's multiplicative against all of the sum of all the previous bonuses added together. So doing objectives and keeping your health up and everything actually benefits you more in the long run. Like it can work out better for you, assuming you play well. But if you don't, then it ends up becoming more of a thorn in your side, right? Than actually helping you. Because now you just don't have a medic anymore, and there's no more real bonus to multiply it by because you lost it all already, you know? That's one of the issues with it. So it's such a gamble. It's like, I'm not really surprised that more teams, like... well, I mean, we actually had a lot more attempts, to be honest, than oh, that crit right there. We had a lot more attempts on it than I expected it to be honest with you guys, like, over the whole course of the tournament. But it doesn't surprise me that no one managed to complete it, because it's that freaking hard. Like, we did it during CDMT on a practice match on Spillway, and we wiped twice before we finally got it. It's just difficult, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But kudos for like teams actually trying it, and I think no matter what happens, like, it's good practice and it gets you better at having solid communication together. So hopefully next time, like, I mean, we might even see it in the finals. You never know. Like, maybe one of the teams just does dual nomadic bonus, which we'll actually get to in a little bit here when we talk about Ubu. But maybe they do that and then just like set a really insane score. I think it's probably good for us to move on to the next one, yeah?
Yeah.
I figured actually, instead of going in the order that they were played, let's actually just do them like the other half. So we're doing TSG versus YOLO. Let's just talk about YOLO and like finish this entire matchup.
Alright.
So that moves us on to Yolomancers, which I'll let you have the floor for this one, Jenny.
Okay. So for wave 1, we also did the strat where you hang out at spawn because you're already in a hold and it would waste time and be dangerous to run away. And so we would put Ryan up front on the big fat lane up by the trains, because he could just firewall all the trash over there, and then we stuck TVG on back so he doesn't have to deal with that. That does come with the downside of sometimes there's just not really any trash in the back, but it made the front pretty easy to hold if Ryan doesn't get like dumpstered on HP wise, which did happen a little bit here and there. But this hold honestly wasn't that bad. We did come back to it for one of the objectives, but that was really it. And then after that, we actually went straight for the wave 2 objective, which is honestly a lot more interesting than that front hold, because that starting hold is just a couple of scrakes and we can freeze that. What is funny is that we actually, after the first couple of times practicing it, never got a Scrake in the backline on start. And then through that first objective, we decided that Firebug would be good to hold on the the small stair choke, because during Z time you can just put infinite fire. You can use Heat Wave to keep largest back, which did help with the takedowns for the slingers.
Mm-hmm.
And the slingers were able to do enough short range DPS to make sure none of the largest got in. And I would tell them to just call for a medic grenade if they needed an extra push. I actually remember.
I gotta say, a medic grenade would have been really nice on that hold.
Oh, did you do it with that one?
We did it. No, we did that one. No medic.
Oh, not. Oh, yeah, because Survivals doesn't have medic nades.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, medic nades on that specific hold is really nice, if especially if you don't have a Firebug to use like Heat Wave, because that stairwell gets pushed really easy.
Yeah, I was just bouncing nail bombs and hoping for the best.
Yeah.
Yeah, nail bombs are kind of annoying. Like in vanilla right now, they're just ridiculously broken, right? They insta-stun everything, but the real nail bombs, I guess if you will, are actually quite inconsistent. Like, I know there's like methods to getting them to be more consistent, but they're just difficult to pull off in practice because you often don't have time to do it, and you have to like shoot the Scrake at the same time you throw the bomb, and you gotta hope it goes off nearby him enough, and it's just a lot of effort, and it's like all you really can do most of the time is just throw them and hope it works out, you know?
Yeah. Something I did want to say about that objective is that when we were doing it, Indy actually mentioned that he was surprised the back staircase wasn't as big of a problem as he was expecting it to be. What I actually realized is that because of how the spawns in your map are laid out, that stairwell is a fake lane. It's not real. Nothing comes there.
Yeah, because everything that would go to that room would just come down the big stairs anyway, or it would
Yeah, they go
just
to
go
front.
down. Yeah.
So
The most I saw on that stair in any of the matches was CSE's Bloat and 2 Sirens.
Yep, and that's the most we ever got out of it, really.
The biggest issue with that hold is just the fact that you're on an incline the whole time. Like, that's really the main test, I think, is... Like, there's two distinct holds in this entire match that are based on stairs, and it's, you know, the infamous one on B. Was it wave 5 on B, I think? No,
4B.
4B, yeah.
Oh, wait, that one.
That one's where you're above all the Zeds. You're, you know, I have the high ground, and then there's the, you know, the one that we're just talking about right now, lower. And the real challenge on those are just really dealing with the inclines. If you can manage that, then it's not that bad.
Yep. And Firebug was really nice for that in particular. Yeah, a case of, you know, Firebug can lane with precision perks if it's played well. But yeah, that lane basically never got anything. So that was both our escape route, and we were able to just ignore it and put everyone on the front lanes. And then our main hold was fun. So it's basically the same as TSG's, but I found out that the spawn above the wall can be LOS'd, and that the fence up top does not block line of sight, and neither does the branches of that tree. So I can actually stand up by the fence and LOS it through the fence. But if I get pushed up against the plywood, I do lose LOS. I could also stand at the very top of the ramp, but that risks getting knocked off, which was a big problem in practice until I moved to the fence.
I thought the fence was an LOS blocker, which is why I discarded it initially.
Yeah, I just tried it and learned that the fence was not a blocker for the LOS, and neither was the leaves.
Assuming made an ass out of me.
Yeah, so that basically shut down the entire backspawn, right? There was literally nothing ever coming from back there. Although I did see some random trash every once in a while, but you guys never got a single large from back there unless you got
We've had
down.
times where I would get shoved into the plywood and we'd get like a triple Scrake.
Yeah. But assuming you can stay in position, though, you can keep it under control.
Yeah, and that's what I called Ray over for. So we had all different DPSs on the front lane, but if I ever got larges on my lane, I would call Ray specifically for flex. It was his dedicated job. And basically, if I got anything short of a triple flesh pound, just Ray would come over. But if we got like a triple FP, we'd have both slingers run over and take care of it.
Yeah, just having like a dedicated people. Well, I mean, it's going to be one of the slingers, but having like Ray specifically doing it makes the I don't know what the like way to describe this, but basically you're eliminating the need to have to think about it. You already
There's
know.
no
It
hesitation or
makes it
confusion.
easier logistics.
Yeah, you're not having to be like, who's gonna go? It's like, no, you're designated to go. You just go. And like when you get to like Make V3 Nasha, for example, that's one of the things you have to be really good at is just having really clear comms that are super concise and everybody knows what you're talking about.
Yeah, Ray's been a bit of a flex god for his matches. He's really
That's
good
what
at
we've been
flexing.
using Damn Guy for, because I'm always prepping, so I always stay on the Mando lane, and then Damn Guy flexes.
Yeah, Ray's really good at flexing. We had him flexing on this Wave 4 objective too. He would go to every lane, though the only one I actually told him to specifically flex for is the Mando lane. He just went out to help top occasionally on his own volition. And I was just like, yeah, that's cool.
That makes sense why he's been asking me lots of questions recently then about how I play, because I like doing the same thing. I like to be I told the exact word I said to him was the busy bee. Just like going to all the lanes and flexing. It's really fun to play that way, but it's also like it can be a bit tiresome, I guess. I don't know what the word is for this.
It's a lot of effort.
It's not necessarily
It's taxing.
tiresome. It's just you gotta be able to really understand what's going on everywhere, and a lot of that comes from map knowledge.
Yeah. So I would say the only really like jank thing about this hold is that sometimes you know how there's a medium spawner on the roof behind top wall?
Yeah.
Sometimes stalkers will spot him before they jump down and then run directly at him and actually clip the railing and land up behind him. And that's happened where several times a single stalker would clip that railing, screw up his takedown, and he would die.
Oof. Yeah, yeah, stalkers are freaking like the bane of any takedown. Like even for support, man. Like
it's so unfortunate because they're not
So
supposed
annoying.
to be able to jump down there, but they can just barely clip that railing on their way down.
I see.
But thankfully that didn't happen in the actual run. And as soon as the objective completed, we decided to dip because a lot of the times at the very end of that wave, it gets very chaotic in there, and I just didn't want to risk it.
There's Ray flexing over, by the way, like you were talking about.
Yeah.
Immediately right off the bat. Usually at the beginning of the wave on the later half of the game, you're gonna always get like a little pack of larges.
The basic
typically
rule
come from one of the
was
spawns.
the rule that we used was basically if I get more than 1/4 pound, Ray comes, and if I get more than 2 flesh pounds, they both come. Because the goblin is pretty good at handling 1/4 pounds. Like you can dump 2 mags into a 1/4 pound's body and it dies. So I was actually able to just solo single quarters that came on my lane, which happened I think 2 or 3 times across the match. And then anything smaller than that 1/4 pound, I can just snipe with the carbine. So I was actually able to solo that lane unless I got a big large spawn.
Yeah, the goblin's not bad at just killing. Like it doesn't do as much damage as other weapons do, like the incision, obviously, but it's actually not bad for killing larges with it. And medic weapons are characteristically higher stumble power than most other weapons in the game, so it just like if the slow from the bleed debuff wasn't enough, then you just stumble them, and it's just like the big like you can't play the video game weapon for larges. Like it just prevents them from doing anything, especially QPs because they don't really have much health.
It's so weird that the Sentinels actually massively desynced on Boris's end for most of this match. It was actually I was throwing it so it landed in the door frame and would stop on the ceiling of the door frame.
It looks
that
like
second
it's there.
Sentinel isn't real.
Oh, I see. Yeah, there are 2 there.
Yeah, the one that's outside isn't real. That's just a bug.
I see.
I don't know why it's there. You can see it's not actually causing any particle effects when it shoots at Zeds.
Yeah, and it also doesn't even have a HUD over its head either. I wonder what. I'm not sure if that's the game though, or if it's the mods. It could be either one, but
yeah. But basically, there's a medium spawner inside the building there, and I realized that if I throw a sentinel there, anything smaller than a husk that isn't a rider will be basically killed by that, and I don't even have to pay attention to the mediums in there, which means I get knocked around less, so I don't lose line of sight as much.
Nice.
Unless it spawns stalkers, but stalkers don't come through that often.
I really like how after Fright Yard, like we've been seeing more sentinel use now, because I mentioned that specifically in one of these matches where I left it in on purpose, like to see if people would decide to use it, and then I don't remember who did first. The first one I know that I saw was Uwu, because Dom was using it. and then I commented on it, and then it's cool seeing more of that being used
Yeah,
now.
I don't know if they
Uwo and 404 broke it out on Fright Yard in the same spot.
Yeah.
were they using it to actually like hold a line, or was it just supplemental damage?
It was to try and keep too many ambushes from happening at the back of gas station.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Oh, well, that's really sketchy because you can get largest back there, and that'll piss them off.
Yeah, you have to keep a close eye on it.
Yeah, because like we were just checking regularly, and with me being where I was able to call them out.
Yeah, if we had had more practice, I think we would have gotten in a better pattern for it. As it was, we just threw a sentinel at it and hope for the best.
Yeah.
So you want to talk about how you guys did Hans?
In just a minute.
Oh my god, that
I had
Hans
something
strat
I
was
wanted
so
to say,
good.
and now I've forgotten. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh yeah, we also started calling it the team captain.
Jeff, the team captain.
What?
I said Jeff, the team captain.
Yeah, Jeff, the team captain. Yeah. I actually call it team captain in chat during the run. And then one more thing I want to talk about before we move on is X-Files. So I don't know about Ethereal and Coco. I know Freed had problems with it, where occasionally the ramp to drop down here. Occasionally, a large will just materialize on that ramp from nowhere in line of sight, even though there's no spawner there. And it's because with choke points off, they get stuck in there so aggressively that the game has to use a fallback where it teleports them to a valid position. And so it would end up just teleporting them through the wall to the right of us. And when we actually ended up having that be the X-Files as a call out, because when I kept saying on your right or behind you, my team would either look to the left or to the wall spawn. And so one game I just decided to call it X-Files, and everybody knew exactly what I was talking about, and that was the call out from that point forwards. But choke points got turned on for this map because of that bug, so it ended up not happening in any other runs.
Yeah, and the only reason why I did that is because, or it's off rather, is because there's really annoying behavior with FPs in this game where when they're in the process of raging, their hitbox their collision box basically reduces to 0. So like let's say there's two flesh pounds walking single file, like a single file line back to back, right? They're like one is right behind the other. And you rage the first one. In the vanilla system, once the first one starts raging, the one that's behind him, he can just walk right through him. And it just, not only does that block your shots on the head trace for the first one, because now the other one's literally standing inside of them, but it also is it's kind of cheap, right? Because like you basically lose your ground for no reason, because now you have two rages now. Whereas with the Moth, when the FP starts to rage, he doesn't become non-solid.
Yeah.
And then you can actually like get the kill and use it to body block, but that's what was causing that problem. Is, like you said, the game just like, it's like, well, nothing can move, so, you know, I'm just gonna teleport it. And it's probably because of that one single door there.
Yeah. Firebug is so nice on this line. Because during Z time, he can just absolutely delete larges. Andy's got Heat Wave. Andy has the M203 to nuke trash. It was just such a good perk for this lane in particular.
Yeah, running Precision Firebug was a really good choice too.
It buys you guys time, right? In case something actually does break through, you can just stumble it with Heat Wave and it'll probably die by that time. It's like if it makes it that far, it's probably already been whittled down a decent amount, and then it'll just die. So
yeah, like it was such a big deal because like our team would usually just mulch flesh runs as they come around the corner, but Ryan gave them a bit of wiggle room if they messed up a takedown or something. Oh yeah, also Zed's explosion stuns made a lot of takedowns absolutely free.
Yeah, that skill is ridiculous.
Fun. It's so fun. And yeah, Hans. So this is actually a manip that requires me to stand there, TBG to stand there, and the rest of the team to stack in order to get it to work properly. Because doing it this way, LOS is all but 3 spawns for bosses on the entire map, and 2 of them are on the complete opposite end of the world from where they are. So it forces one Hans to spawn there, and then you just absolutely wreck him before the other Hans shows up. And the reason I stay where I do is because the other Hans will see me and like try to shoot me and throw nades, and that slows him down. And so between me slowing him down and the Z time Rhino strat, we were able to kill one of the Hanses before the other one even showed up. So it was like just fighting 2 back-to-back bosses.
It also looks like that helped you out too, because the trash that was going from the first Hans went to you, and then it just gave TBG like free reign to just get extensions.
More or
during
less.
that. I don't know if that was intentional, but
TBG was just doing so good with the extensions. What also was kind of cool was that 2 HP fakes on Hans is actually so squishy that if we get a good knockdown timing in real time, he is so squishy that you can do the Rhino strat in real time and force his next shield phase. Which actually happens in this run, where I think Ray runs up and does Rhinos, and he actually goes to shield phase in real time.
Yeah, Uwu found that in practice,
Right
but
here.
the problem was we couldn't manipulate the Hans positioning well enough. This was a really smart spawn manip.
Yeah, I realized that one person wasn't enough, but I knew that you could LOS all but those 3 spawners with those 2 positions, which requires 2 people, but would be good enough to accomplish our goal. And we do the same manip for Matriarch, because stacking the whole team in that corner weights that spawner higher than the others and causes her to spawn there. And then I guess we can talk about our second game, and then I'll talk about Matriarch. Yeah, I mean, it was really the same as the first match. I noticed a pretty consistent trend that B scenario was just harder every time for some reason. For everybody, I don't understand why it was like that. Actually, speaking of Snare B being harder, I think my team was the only team that finished it, right?
yeah,
You were the only ones with the matriarch kill.
Yeah, every other team
was
wiped,
that Ethereal?
unfortunately.
I said, yeah, you're the only ones with matriarch kill. You had the fastest time by default.
Well, it's a good thing our strat was really fast and really good. I loved our strat. I was so proud of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the wave 2 objective was sort of like how we did the other objective, but we had Ryan with TBG just being mindful of him. And then we had the 2 stingers on back, who I would throw med nades for on occasion. And this hold, honestly, was not as bad as I was expecting it to be. I was expecting it to be so much worse than it was.
It's horrible, no medic bonus.
Oh god, I can only imagine.
Yeah, no med nades, this is a nightmare.
Yeah, I can only imagine how awful that would be. Your gunslingers would basically need to be super cracked.
Yeah, we made it work a couple of times, but the moment we dropped a single step, it was all over.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah. And then we did wave 3. Ray was LOSing.
Called it.
Yeah, he was. We figured out that the spawn over in that area is not out of sight, and if you stand in line with that fire barrel, you can actually see it from where he's standing. And so I just had Ray anchor there, and the absolute Chad basically never moved. Which basically let us turn it from two lanes with a back spawn into 3 lanes with a back spawn into 2 lanes with no back spawn.
Yeah,
because I was
worked out
usually
pretty
watching
nicely.
the staircase spawn, and it tends to not spawn things very often. But yeah, Ray anchoring on that corner is what made this hold work as well as it did. We were tempted to make this our main hold because of when I did it with Chris and Nos and some other people in Time Attack. But doing this as a main hold is really dependent on an amazing Zerker. And then from there, it was just main hold shenanigans. You know, everyone up front, Sentinel on my side, handling everything short of 2 quarters on the back lane. We did have a wave 10 kite. And I think on the wave 10 kite, we actually did use all 3 of our holds. Because something we decided was we need to push out early if we start getting pushed on main hold. So we were really willing to kite early. And part of the reason we're willing to kite so early is because we have 3 holds. So we have 3 chances to not kite at all and just whittle the wave down. And we were able to get all the way down to, you see, about 100 Zeds before we got pushed out of our actual 3 holds without kiting. even though we got pushed twice. And then, unfortunately, on our way out of this hold, Code got bodied by a bunch of quarters.
Oh my god, there's so many QPs. What the fuck?
Yeah, and then Code just got hit, like triple hit by all of them. It was so
Yeah.
unfortunate.
Code got donked on by $1.
That
Jeez,
was our
dude.
first death of the entire run, of both runs, by the way. We only had 2 deaths across both games, and both of them were this wave. And then Top Wolf was just hilarious and unfortunate, because he gets hit by an FP and is fine. And then he gets tapped by the very edge of a Gorfine's single attack and just instantly dies at like 40 HP. For no reason. It honestly didn't even look like it should have hit him. It was so sad. I watched him die. I thought he was gonna be fine. It kind of reminds me of in practice where Code got 2-shot by a rider from 60 HP.
Yeah, riders fucking hurt when they self buff. Like I've gotten I don't know how much health I had when it happened to me, but I've had that happen as well from like a value where I was like, I'm pretty sure I'm not gonna die from this, but then I did.
Yeah.
I was like,
Coagulant
Jesus.
really you underestimate how much damage Trash does. Because Coagulant just reduces their damage so much.
It was
yeah,
an experience on Nomadic not having Coagulant.
Top just got the absolute tiniest boop from that Gorfine. And if you hadn't gotten it, it would have been a 1 death across both games, which would have been amazing. We were so close to a double deathless. I would have been so happy because we didn't even have that good of a run in practice for deathless. Yeah, right here is when Top dies. Right at the end of the wave, too.
Oh yeah, I remember seeing this now. I was trying to oh and that man, that's so close to that combo.
Top just gets the absolute tiniest Gorfine to boop and it kills him.
So a question I have, by the way, before we move on to the boss is you already mentioned that for wave 4 and 5 on the B scenario, you guys didn't go for it, of course, but
Yep.
like, and you said it was because of the firebug. But what specifically about having firebug made it more difficult for you guys than say for CSE? Because CSE did both of those ones.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good question. Well, I would like to say we could have done the last one, but we actively chose not to because while it was doable and not super bad, we didn't want to risk it getting super chaotic and wiping the team.
That's
we
fair.
just wanted to finish it out because we
play it
knew
safe.
we had it and we just didn't want to screw ourselves over and burn.
That makes sense.
But we did practice it, and it was more than 75% chance success. But the one up top, the reason Firebug hurts there so much is while he does have Precision Bug has a lot of recoil, and that means that his range is somewhat limited. So he can't handle stuff down the stairs very well.
Mm-hmm.
His TTK is also kind of high compared to like Sharp or Slinger. It's not like slow, but it's not quite fast enough to handle the short lane, even with Heat Wave. And he also doesn't have freezes, so we were lacking in CC. We had less Z time, and his TTK was longer, which makes holding a hold like that more difficult than it would be otherwise.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, when we watched, we'll get to it in a little bit, right, when we go into the CSE match, but when CSE was playing, they were doing dual sharp, right, so when FPs did walk out, they were able to just completely take them apart from all the way across the map really quickly.
And I think that's what really made it for them was they had double sharp instead of a Firebug. Firebug is better for this main hold and a couple of the objectives, but I think it's a worse choice for that hold specifically.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's all I had to ask. Yeah, we can talk about the boss now, and then we can move on to the next game.
So it's funny. When we got to Matriarch, when we got hit by the lightning, you were like, "Ooh, it just nuked everybody's armor." That was on purpose. We decided to face tank that.
You just wanted to get into the purple laser?
Yeah, because... Wait, what was that?
You just wanted her to get to the purple laser, right?
No, actually... Well, yes. But we realized that if we just face tank the chain lightning and shoot her gun, we can get it down by the end of the first purple plasma. Because we do about half of the gun health in a single phase. So she does the lightning, half of her gun health goes down. And then she does plasma, and the other half goes away while Ryan face tanks it. And we realized that that's not enough damage to even destroy the whole team's armor. and if her gun goes down, that's basically a win. So we just face tank the lightning and then have Ryan face tank the plasma, and it's basically a free boss fight.
Yeah, once her gun is gone, it's just basically a melee only boss.
It's basically it's nerfed patriarch more or less.
Pretty much, yeah.
Kite headshot win.
Yeah, pretty much.
It turns into KFP, rage KFP at that point.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, that ended up working out really well for you guys.
Yeah, so it's the same manip, and then we actively face tanked both of her attacks.
So let me ask then,
Very
what
nice.
made you decide to go straight for the cannon instead of just going straight through her head?
Because if you destroy her head armor, she can still use the cannon, and Tesla Blast is very dangerous. We face tanked it, and it destroyed basically almost the entire team's armor bars.
Yeah, but you can just not face tank it.
True, but that would slow down our kill.
I'm unsure about that. I'm actually not sure if you're right.
Because if you have to break LOS to hide from the Tesla, you're not shooting, and if you're not shooting, you're not damaging.
It only has to be one person though. Whoever's getting shot at.
I mean that's fair, but we're kind of hard to determine exactly who she's looking at when everyone's inside of each other.
Fair.
It was just easier, and like we didn't have to think about it. And since it was only one matriarch, like we could just face tank it and then not worry about it because she wouldn't be able to do enough damage, and the EDARs wouldn't get to us fast enough.
Oh yeah, no, I grant that it's easier, but I do think that the other way around is faster.
I don't think it would have been faster.
They're about equal based on the clip Melon posted. YOLO put up a 52-second matriarch kill, and that Melon clip is a 48-second matriarch kill.
Yeah. And we did get kind of screwed over with our
that was
knockdown
tough
because
to
of the
do.
way that she fell. Her head was out of sight. So if we had gotten like a better falling pose, she probably would have died at the same time. Oh yeah, the Great Firewall of Ryan on the Wave 3 objective, because Code's name is Ryan, and Diamond Dog is Ryan, so it's the Great Firewall of Ryan.
Ryan squared.
Yeah, Ryan squared.
Ryan 2, Ryan harder.
If Ryan is so good, then why haven't they made a Ryan 2?
But yeah, all around though, thanks for explaining all that. It was really cool listening to you talk about like how you guys went through the match, and yeah, I mean that was it was fun to watch, right? You could tell, like I said this during the match, but you can tell that this was all very strictly rehearsed, right? Like the blocking the backspawn on the main place you guys were holding at, and then the manipulations for the boss. Like it was all really cool to see, and it's cool that people are getting used out of debug mode, right? Because I mean, you could have done that by looking at the map in the SDK, but it's just easier, right? You don't have to. I mean, at least for me, like every time I want to use the SDK, I gotta completely delete my cache and turn off reshade and everything, and it's just a pain. I hate the SDK for this game. It's annoying to deal with, and you can't have it on while the game is on and stuff like that. So just like having access to that at a moment's notice is really nice, and it's cool that people are using it to like really good effect, you know?
If it's any consolation, at least it's not Halo 2's SDK.
That's true, but aren't those SDKs like basically fan made though? Anyway, they're not even like
No,
people have to put them together.
the Halo 2 Vista SDK is an absolute nightmare.
Oh, I see. I see.
And not
Everything
because
about
of-
Halo 2 Vista is an absolute nightmare.
Yeah, but it's not strictly Vista's fault. It's just that SDK is absolutely horrid.
I see.
You basically have to just like do an arcane ritual every time you compile your map, and also not have more than 30,000 triangles. And if you do those two things, you might get your map to compile.
I see. Yeah, so before we move on to the next match, I wanted to double check if Coco didn't have anything he wanted to add about this match, like any questions or anything you wanted to ask. If you don't, it's okay.
I'm good. I just enjoyed watching it.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, same here.
y'all were joking about me not doing anything on that back lane, but like I was doing more than you thought, because I was constantly looking up on that hill and sniping mediums.
You hucked some crucial med grenades too that I noticed.
Yeah, so if I heard the team calling a particularly large glut of larges, or if they called for it, I would throw them a med nade. Because I have a pretty good sense of when the team might actually want one. So I would just throw it or ask the team. Like during one of the war rooms, you can hear me ask if the team needs a med nade. And then I think one of them takes a hit or they say something about a bunch of larges coming out, and I just throw it.
Oh, that was a good freeze right there.
Because med nades are really good at helping the team push back because it gets rid of trash, it buffs the team. Yeah, med nades were really helpful for maintaining this. More than the carbine. The carbine's good, but the carbine suffers a bit from where I'm standing because the carbine really wants you to be aggressive with it. And if I'm having to sit back, I can't get as many seeds off with the carbine, which means it's not healing the team quite as much.
Yeah, you'd have to ask your teammates to purposely leave trash, let them come into view, like where everybody's standing now. You have to ask them to purposely back up so you can see them, which
I never
is not
asked
ideal.
them to do. I just took the opportunity when it presented itself to me, which occasionally worked out.
Yeah, it just wouldn't be ideal if you did that, right? Because then if they were dealing with a large and you're like, hey, just leave the crawler that's tickling you while you're trying to kill this flesh pound alive so I can see it. It's just not worth it. Like, It's better to just let them kill it, and then you could either just dart them or maybe just throw a med nade if you really need one still.
Yep. Yeah, I just took the chance when it came up.
Yeah. So final score between both matches was 51-78, which is really good. That's you got like you said earlier, you guys were the only team to finish both games fully. So you got the full 2K, and then you got all the bonuses, and yeah, that's it sounds like for the most part everything went according to plan, which is awesome.
For once, yeah.
Yeah. So I was really impressed watching this, and I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys do next week for final. Yeah, next week now, I guess, for finals. It's gonna be fun because those two maps, I can tell you right now, this actually wasn't okay. So I'm gonna say this right now for the record. I had no hand in this whatsoever, but I did go and double check. There are absolutely no spawns in either one of those two maps that you can do the same trick on that you did for this map. And I did not touch any of them. They were just already like that. So
no, yeah.
Seeing how you guys handle that's going to be interesting, because there are not any blockable spawns at all. Like, besides the ones that are in, like, let me correct myself. There are no spawns that are outside the playable boundaries of the map that are blockable. They're all LOS. Or, they're all LOOS, rather.
Yep.
So that'll be interesting. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how it goes. Shall we move on to the next matchup?
Sure.
Alright, so next we have Uwu versus Chainstop Enthusiasts. So we're gonna do Uwu first because they were the first to play in the half. So
Speaking
this is
of
actually
things that didn't go according to plan.
So this is going to be Coco's team, and you know, obviously Coco's here with us now. He's the team captain, and we also have Ethereal with us. So I'm gonna let you guys both kind of take the floor on this match and say whatever you feel you want to talk about. If anything,
Coco, you want to open up? I've been talking a lot already.
Sure, this one was absolutely amazing to play, actually, because our team honestly has probably one of the lowest experience pools. I'm pretty sure most of us only had 2 or 3 months. Oh, maybe more. No, all our group 1 that definitely had less than a month of playing. I think our group 2 is maybe 5 months, and then just Dom as well only had like a year of experience. So we had like low experience coming into this match, and I didn't expect us to pull out a no medic bonus, but my team was like, they really wanted to do it, and it was actually pretty crazy. And it actually went really well during practice because we just played meta, you know, 2 sharps, 2 gunslingers, 1 commando, and then we just had a survivalist medic. And we actually opted to go with the standard CD hold, not the alt holds that Dick Snack Gang and Yolomancers went with. And it worked out really well during practice. Fortunately, it did not go quite as well on wave 10 for us in the matches, though.
Why didn't you pull any larges for us, Coco? We got quinted twice in a row.
Oh yeah, that was I think that was our biggest problem in these matches, because in our practice matches, I usually pulled nearly double the largest I usually pulled compared to the match. I think I pulled like 40 during
80
the match,
versus
both
40.
games. Yeah, and I usually pulled around 80 larges. And our front lane, like, they did amazing, honestly. Even with all the all the quints, I just heard a lot of rumbling from the other side, and I was just terrified.
It was real stressful on front lane.
I think what I'm really impressed by with both your guys' runs was just to set the stage for the people watching. Like you guys are both, you're going for dual NMB runs, right? Which the projected
Yep.
score amongst both of those runs would have been over 6,000 points. Basically, if you would have done that, it would have been extremely close. Like Chainsaw would have had to play. I think they would have actually still been able to win without doing NMB at all. But they would have had to play so perfectly. Like the margin for error would have been super low to the point where if they make any mistakes at all, it would actually probably cost them the match. That's
If
how
we posted
insane
over
their
a
points were.
6,000, they probably would have had to go NMB. That was the goal.
Yeah.
The goal was to disrupt the medicing and Melon in particular
Yeah.
by
geez,
forcing her to
screw
switch
Melon,
roles on
man.
match day.
Poor
Yeah,
Melon.
that was our plan because from our scouting, so to speak, we knew that like Sob's team was probably gonna run medic twice again on this
Yeah.
map because they played meta precision with a medic all their games, every single game.
That's what they do. They meta precision and go really fast and stomp on everything in sight. That was the CSE style, and we didn't want to
Exactly.
try and beat them at that game.
So if we pulled off a no medic, we knew that they would probably be really uncomfortable playing a no medic run. And if we pulled off our first run, because that was the one we practiced more on as well, it had objectives that we were actually able to do no medic,
Mhm.
and our score would have been like way higher on the first one.
Our minimum score was a 2400 with 3 objectives, and even with full deaths.
And no time bonus.
Yeah, if no time bonus, yeah.
You'd still get 2,400 even with all that.
Yep.
Yep.
1,000 for
completion
completion,
and OBJ.
600 for objectives, another 800 for NMB, 2,400.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Yeah, that's insane.
Objective NMB is really, really good if you can pull it out.
Yeah, because each objective's 300, right? At that point, which if you do 3 objectives, that's another full completion score practically.
Yep.
Almost, right? It's 900 points. So, yeah. See, that's really cool because like that was. I always like to like bring these things up when they come up because like obviously like I'm just the host, I'm just the organizer for everything. I'm not actually playing, right? But like when I'm like making these like scenarios and setting all the stuff up for the tournament, I have like preconceived notions of how I think things will go and how I want things to go, you know? And like I was hoping that would become a thing where now that the teams are playing against one another directly, now they're actually going to have to start looking into what the other team does. And like obviously it's all fun, right? It's like we're just joking, right? Like no one really actually has anything against Melon. It's just like but that's part of the strategy now though, right? Is like you're facing another team, so like what can we do to,
we weren't targeting Melon personally, we were targeting the medic role. I should clarify that.
Yeah. No, I mean I'm sure even if she's watching this, she knows that we're just, it's nothing like personal. It's just that's part of the matchup though. Is like it's a new element added in that wasn't there during the group stage. Because in the group stage, I mean, you could technically argue that you could do that as well, but it's just not really direct. It's not a direct thing because everybody is playing against everybody else at the same time. Now, you actually have to be mindful about what the other team does. And the same thing is going to happen, by the way, for CSC and YOLO, right? No doubt they're both already looking into each other's strategies and trying to find ways to either just play better and just win outright by just having a dominant strategy or trying to do something in a way that forces them to make a bad move that they're not comfortable with. And that's part of the mind games that goes into competitions like this. And I just think it's cool that you guys were thinking about that, Of course, no disrespect to CSE at all, It's just part of the...
I mean, it was a sign of respect to CSE that we were pretty sure we couldn't beat them at their own game.
Yeah, I mean, they've been playing...
We were unsure.
Yeah, I understand. It was definitely fun to watch. Like, I think... I mean, like... If you guys hadn't had that retry penalty in the first round in the group stage, like, you guys have actually been playing really well overall, too. Like, when you guys finally got it together for that third attempt, like, it was insane. Like, the match was, like, just mind-boggling. Like, and then the Han skill was really good. Like, you guys have actually been playing really well. Like, I didn't actually know about the... Well, I mean, I did know because I have the statistics and the signups and everything, but I just kind of forgot that you did have a lot of newer players in your team. So the fact that you guys were able to pull that off, even if it didn't end in a win... is like really impressive, right? I mean, Pice is like literally brand new to the game. I'm the one that found Pice. I got in contact with him through my YouTube channel, and then I directed him to the server.
I just found that comment the other day.
And yeah, that's how he ended up like playing with us. And like he's super fresh, and he's already playing at this kind of a level, and it's kind of insane. Because for me personally, like none of these resources that you guys have now were available back when. I mean, Coco's been playing longer than I have, even. So I'm sure he can agree with me. Like back then, there just wasn't as much accessibility as there is now compared to like with having like the record system in place and all the other stuff we have, all the nice bells and whistles. And so it's like nice to see people like Pius like come in brand new, and then he's able to actually utilize those resources and kind of accelerate himself at a faster rate than before. That's why I think the skill floor has absolutely skyrocketed. Like the average player now that's new is like way better than the average new player back then by far. It's, to me, it's noticeable anyways.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Pice's timing
that's
of
for sure.
joining was also one of the things that held up Uwu, because Pice started intensively queuing at the same time I did this summer. Like, I theoretically started last December, but I really started playing
Actively.
CD intensively this summer. And
Yeah.
we queued a lot together, which is why we were lane partners so often.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, I had a good idea for what he was going to do, when he was going to freeze, what he would shoot at. And so we had a really good synergy that really kept our Trinity rolling.
Yeah, you just develop synergy over time by playing with people, you know? And
Yeah.
just to really quickly add on, or rather to finish up what I was saying a moment ago about the skill floor thing, just to put it in perspective, like, this entire tournament has been at 50 max monsters ASL v3, right? Back then, in, like, 2017 through 2019, like, that was, like, a pretty difficult score to set. Like for example, I mean this in no disrespect, by the way, to anybody in the run or the run itself, but, like, you guys probably have all heard of the classic Vaughn, you know, not even close baby run where he was, like, welding all the doors, the Kite Extraordinaire run. I know Coco knows about this on Ashwood Asylum. That was only 50 mm. And when you watch that video, like, it felt super chaotic because, like, just, like, and again, this, I don't mean to say that, like, I'm, disrespecting any of the people in that run. It's just that, like, the people that play nowadays, like the newer players that come into the scene, are already completing matches at the exact same stats as what they did back then. Except I believe the only difference is 12 cohort size, by the way, which does make a little bit of a difference. But still, like, same spawn cycle, same MM, right? And on a map that's not necessarily easy either. I mean, they're obviously not fully comparable. Ashwood versus Crash is not a comparison really, but it's not really an easy map either. Like, Ashwood's a hard map too. And the fact that people are doing that without a medic at that level is, like, insane. So that's all I really had to say. That run's really fun, by the way. You should go watch that if you've never seen it before. That's the classic Kite Extraordinary. We even named an achievement after it for the servers too.
Wow.
But yeah, my bad. I kind of felt like I got off on a ramble there, but it's just something I thought was worth mentioning because it's been one of the things that I've been really happy about seeing, and I do feel like we've had a little bit of a part in that because of how accessible things are nowadays. It's easy for people to just hop in and start playing. They don't have to worry about checking, like, did we set the, you know, random CD parameter number 57 that I don't even know what it means? Is it set to the proper value? It's like, I don't know. Is it? Did someone use a banned weapon? I don't know. Did they? Like, it's like you just don't have to care about that. You just play. And it's good to know those things, but it's like you don't have to worry about it on the beginning, so the barrier to entry is lower, you know?
Yeah, you can just kind of jump in and play. It's really nice.
And then you have this tournament too, right? Which, like, advertises it to more people, and then the people that are playing get actual team experience, because that's something that I actually was talking about today. Gosh, my memory sucks so bad I can't even remember who I was talking with this about anymore, but I literally today I was just talking with someone about the fact that, you know, there's turbo. Oh, it was Ray. I was talking to Ray about this. There's the turbo servers that let you play CD, right? They let you get your feet wet into, like, what CD is as, like, a mode and everything. But playing a lot of turbo doesn't necessarily fully transfer over to playing in an organized environment, because in a turbo game, your teammates are all just random. Like, it's just whoever decides to join. But in a team game, like, you actually have those synergies that at play, and you can have moments like that in turbo matches, but it's just not the same. So getting that solid team experience, like, where you're actually having to coordinate and figure out who goes best with each other and stuff, is really important. And this event, like, helps you get your feet wet in that realm, you know? Anyways. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, so then we did Objective 2A.
Yes. Let me go back to that real quick. This one here.
Which is a lot spicier without a firebug and a medic. On the narrow lane, we ran Sharp, Slinger, and Pice had 3 jobs on that lane. Freeze larges, shoot riders, shoot gore fiends. Everything else was mine and Damn Guy's problem. Because he was on double lever actions, and The fun thing about Wave 2 on this set of settings, actually, there are 12 larges. Double Sharp has 12 freezes. Freeze everything. That was something we figured out.
Yeah, we needed to be really safe since we didn't have a medic. And it actually, the Wave 2 objective also threw us for a loop because usually the stairs, the long, big stairs that Dom and I were covering, we usually only got like 1 large at most. But I think we got like 6 or 7 on this objective, so it was like super scary.
Yeah, you guys got the majority of it in match, which was really nice for Dom having access to extends, unlike in practice.
Yeah, but then we got all the larges as well, which was super scary for me.
Yep, there is that.
Yeah, especially because you're
and-
sharp and like you got to deal with the long reload times and everything too if you run out of ammo mid takedowns.
Yeah, I think I had to call Damn Guy over once.
There were some
to
damn guy
help.
rotations, yeah.
And then, yeah, once we finished the objective here, we wanted to call a kite to play safe, go up to the objective 4 hold, because that objective 2, if you get pushed at all, like, we don't have med nades, we don't have AoE healing, like, Mir can't keep up with the healing if people are getting smacked in
We just
all
die.
together. Yeah.
Put succinctly, we just die down there.
And then kite out.
Kite out,
This
and then...
is our kite as well for objective 4. When after we finish it, we just kite out the back as well, because the same as objective 2, if we get all bunched up, Mir can't heal us, so we just have to leave.
And then this upcoming Scrake is where those stairs really came home to roost, actually. Because enough ammo was spent on the stairs due to the difficulty of the marksmanship on the incline, that we were down to a 9mm takedown on the final Scrake of this wave.
And that QP was an asshole right there, by the way. I just want to mention that.
Yes. Yeah, so we were fresh out of ammo. Most of us were on knives for this one Scrake, which cost us like a minute of time to 40 seconds or something. I don't have the exact breakdown in front of me.
To add to that, I actually think that Dom got the kill on that with his knife, if I'm not wrong.
Yes, he did.
Oh my goodness.
Not the only knife Scrake kill he gets in this, or no, he gets 9mm Scrake kills later. But yes, he got a knife Scrake kill, which was just insane.
Oh yes, I remember watching this now. I was trying to think about like what was going on and when you were explaining it, but I remember seeing this now when I was watching the game.
I seem to remember somebody putting Benny Hill theme in the comments of the Twitch stream.
That's what I felt like when I was watching it. I was like, man, this Scrake is just like he's going on like a world, tour. He just he aggroed to every single person on the team at one point.
Yep, he was just whipping around. It's in my notes as Scrake dance.
Yeah, you guys are just having fun. I'm pretty sure like during half of that I was calling I have 9mm still. You guys are just like, alright, we're just gonna keep dancing and running
For
him
me,
around.
it didn't register at
There it
first.
is.
I was very stressed out being on knife against the Scrake, and I wasn't paying as much attention to comms as I should have been. I can't speak for the rest of the team, though.
I actually have a question. How come... this is not really a criticism, it's just like a general question. Why didn't you guys decide to just Goomba lock him on the stairs?
That would have been smart, Tamari.
That's what
We
I
never
would
thought of that.
That's what I would have done. Like, I think I've done that in a couple matches with you, actually, Ethereal. Like, I'll just... If that happens, like, I'll just Goomba lock him on the stairs so everybody could just sit there and knife the shit out of him while he just keeps getting knocked over and over again.
Yep.
And then it just makes the kill safer and faster.
I don't have high consistency with Goombas. You can actually see me die to a failed Goomba in our B Wave 10.
That's fair. I mean, they're risky in general, so it's, like... I always preface it when people ask me about Goombas, like, yeah, I mean, I'm only good at doing it because I've done it so many times, It's not, like, something you just, like, pick up. You gotta... Because when I actually was playing with your team, actually, they needed a fill, so I just hopped in with Damn Guy, and Mir was there, and I think you were there. And
I was not there that night. I had a prior engagement, but...
Yeah, I think you're right, actually. You weren't there. Pice was there, though. I remember he was there for sure that day.
Oh, yeah, that was the night I crashed my Gorham car.
Was it?
As I watched the stream from my hotel room.
I think you're right about that, which, man,
Yep.
that's still scary hearing about that. I'm just glad that you're okay after all that stuff happened.
Yeah.
Same.
It's insane.
Yeah, but that was partly the run that actually convinced us that no medic bonus was viable. I know that's what got Damn Guy behind the idea.
Yeah, no, that's what I was gonna say was everybody actually was playing really, really well. But like one thing that like, it's just I don't know, like it's just how do I say this? I'm not even sure how to form the words for this, like what I want to say versus how I want to say it. But like I know during that run when I was helping practice, just like generally the way that I like to play medic is I like to move around a lot, so I always buy DBS. And there was a couple moments where because I got like a double Goomba, it saved us from having the kite because like even if they're raged, like I told Damn Guy this specifically when we were playing. I was like, if it looks like no one's gonna finish him off in time and he's gonna get the hit, I'm gonna come in from the sky and land on his head if I can. And if I manage to do that, then that just saves us from having to leave, given that there's nothing else in the background, you know. And that's the only reason.
That has like a highlight reel of tactical Tamari drops.
That's the only reason why I asked that question. I asked about the stairs because like in that run, I think I specifically did that, and so I just wasn't sure if that was like a conscious decision or just like heat in the moment, just like forgot about it. But
I think heat of the moment.
yeah, that's fair. That's fine. It's not really a criticism as much as it was just curiosity. That was all.
Yeah, it's a fair question. And then we did the main hold, got quinted a lot. Then we went to the wave 4 hold, and
yeah, here we go.
The way we tend to approach holds is we like firing lines. We don't necessarily push out very often. You saw this on Hellmark too, though we did do a push out on the Hellmark Cafe when we were doing Precision. We just tend to set ourselves up so that anything that pokes its nose in gets deleted. And so that's what happened to most of the Zeds on this, was they just appeared and then they disappeared.
Yep. Kill them before they can even move.
Yep, dead Zeds do no harm, right?
There is no substitute for status condition dead.
It's pretty much that's pretty much like the main summary of how I like to play the game. Just be as aggressive as possible, within reason, of course. And then if you can kill everything, then you just can't die because nothing can kill you.
Yeah, so that was how we approached that hold. And then I believe we kite out the back at the end. This was actually one of our worst kites on this hold.
Yeah, that was what Coco was saying. You guys end up dipping out behind, toward where Dom is at right now.
Oh, that's such a dangerous way out, though.
The other ways out we found to be worse.
Yeah, we actually liked going out the side stairwell where Top Wolf is, because Top Wolf can usually keep that pretty clear for us.
Yeah,
since we
we'd
didn't
be
push
walking
out.
out into the unknown.
Yeah, because we didn't push out there, and I remember we just randomly get largest. I think Pice during our practice one time got just a large materialized right beside it, and then just whacked him in the back, and he almost died. So
Yeah.
Oof, yeah.
With our hold, for all we knew, we would be walking out into a team calm crit there. So that
does sound
was
like a lovely endeavor.
yeah. And then,
Yeah, then-
main hold, lots of quints. So many quints. Oh my god, quints. Bad Z timings, lots of those. Get Z time, then the pack of flesh pounds shows up, so you have to do it in real time. Gotta do it live.
Yeah, your guys' game was the game where that happened the most, I think, where they would show up right, like, CSC, on the other hand, got, like, the luckiest at times, where they would always appear, it would happen right when they needed it the most, but for you guys...
Oh my god, CSC's Z times were so good.
like...
And we, especially no medic bonus, like, we needed those Z times to hold us up, and we just were not getting them, so we kited and soft-kited a lot.
Like, I specifically remember calling, like, oh my god, guys, look at the front right, there's, like, a quintuple FP and, like, a dual QP and some Scrakes coming, and then MJ was like, oh my god, and then we look over, and then Z time pops, I'm like, oh, dude, it's gonna end right when they arrive. That's so bad.
Yeah, I've mentioned this in chat before, but we got an octuple FP in practice.
Holy shit.
Which, when you have Z time, both slingers kill QPs and 3 FPs, and there's still FPs left to smack you. You know you're in it.
Yeah, that's just a kite. That's just like...
Yeah, the position fell after that. I have no shame in saying that.
Come on, you can hold those.
What was the next objective on... oh, geez.
7. It's the main hold objective. We just pulled back and slingers ran forward for larges.
Was there another one after that? I don't
Yeah,
remember.
9.
9, but we
9?
didn't
Oh
do
yes,
that.
we didn't do 9.
What was 9? Was that the alternate hold?
9's the
The
alternate
alternate
hold.
hold, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I see.
which is super spicy nomadic bonus, especially if you don't know about the spawn manip.
Yeah, that's completely fair. That being said, as just a theoretical, if you had known about that, would you have decided to go for it, knowing that?
Even so, it was so risky, because when that hold goes wrong, you've got people... You saw this like on the TSG kite, you've got people going up the one area, you've got people going through the room, and it's just really easy to get cut off and disassembled in that courtyard.
Yeah, that's fair.
So we decided the risk wasn't worth it. Especially without med grenades and coagulant.
I think this is the start of the kite right here, I believe I'm not mistaken. Because you guys are getting multi-rages right now, and then there's another FP. Yeah, this is it. I think did we hop over? I don't remember.
That was one of our kites. Yeah, that's the Wave 9 kite.
Yeah, you guys hopped over both Wave 9 and both Wave 10 kites.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's almost like kite comps are interesting or something. Crazy how that works out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad we practiced we actually practiced our kites a lot. So everyone was able to stay topped up. Everyone was mostly safe unless you get like triple or double critted by FPs.
Yeah.
I know Ethereal and Damn Guy were doing really well at taking aggro and taking the rage hits.
Oh, what a freeze right there.
Yeah. Oh, that freeze was so good.
That was so good. That just completely stopped. Also, I was laughing a second ago because Damn Guy was trying to get that Goomba and the FP just like buttered his way out of underneath his feet. Feels bad.
Yep, a shout out I should have made on all of this. Coco and Pice are absolute masters of freezes. I thought I was pretty good from like 500 hours of being a sharp main. No. Oh my god, guys.
I mean, shit, it took us until Crash for Top Wolf to get hooked up with the Samsung freezes.
What the Samsung freeze? Yeah, what's the deal with that, by the way? Is that like a meme on like it being a solid product versus like
Yeah,
the
because
whole
he had
Chinese
the shit freezes
freezes?
before, and now they're actually pretty good. He was getting those Alibaba freezes before.
Yeah, and then there's the aggro switch right
that
there.
was so scary right there. Holy shit.
Yeah, it was terrifying. Damn Guy was backed against the wall and there was an incoming raged FP. I just charged that and hope for the best.
Wait, why did I say Alibaba? It's AliExpress.
Right there. Oh, that's scary. That's really scary. If he would have hit you toward the corner, you're just fucked.
Yeah,
I would have died.
that's
Yep.
rough.
But of the two of us, I do consider Damn Guy to be more valuable. He has a better shot than me.
But that was sick though. How you guys were. I actually remember talking about that specific thing right there. Like how you guys were trading hits. That was really good.
Yeah. We've had enough kite practice at this point that we've gotten really good at it.
Speaking of practice, mine starts in 15 minutes tomorrow.
Oh boy.
Gotcha. All right, no worries. I don't know. I don't think we're gonna be able to get done in time before we have to go, but because we have to do CSC still. But yeah, we can move on to that in a moment here. I thought I'd give you guys a real quick second to talk about, if you want, what you were planning on doing for the bosses. I remember hearing about something. I don't remember who told me, but someone was mentioning something about what you guys were thinking about doing. But
Yeah, so Hans, we couldn't get the Rhino strat to work because we couldn't properly manipulate his positioning. We did not figure out the very elegant YOLO positioning trick.
mm-hmm.
And so we all bought RPGs.
That was what I heard
Quint
about.
RPGs.
That was what. Yeah, somebody had all the RPGs, and I couldn't remember if it was you guys or TSG, and it was you guys. Then I answered.
It was us.
That's one way to do it.
That's hilarious, dude.
We couldn't make it work precision. We couldn't get the positioning. And so we just took the thing he was weakest to and threw it at him.
Yeah, I just said that as a meme. I didn't actually think it would work. And then we couldn't do the precision kill as 6. Then we ended up doing it as 4 with the RPGs in practice, and we were just like, alright, this is free as 6.
Yeah. We did start with the rhinos and just didn't work out.
Yeah.
I'm so sad you guys didn't get to see it. It would have been so funny.
It would have been. I remember the one time I did a Monster Ball game where the gunslinger for memes for the whole game ran Knock 'em Down RPG and was just knocking all the flesh pounds over.
Yep.
Yeah, knock 'em
Yeah,
down.
we switched to knock 'em down, and the one that's the other right side, the gunslingers were going full right side for it because getting shots on Hans's head at long range is really annoying. But yeah, so that was our Han strat, and then our matriarch strat was the standard below the arm, kite until she's dead, pretty much.
Yeah, don't do anything risky just because you guys can't survive the massive Tesla blast if they happen to go off.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
and you can't face tank the plasma.
Yeah. The only
You might be
unusual
able
thing
to with
about it
armor. You might
was
be able to if
bringing
you have
blocks for
armor.
Edars.
Because when Ryan didn't have armor, he was able to tank it because with Coag, the healing was the same rate as the DPS. So I mean, if you have armor, you might be able to.
Yeah, but Ryan also has that Firebug fire resist, and the plasma does fire damage, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
but
Yes.
what I'm saying is that you might be able to face tank it without the Firebug resist if you have armor.
Maybe.
You absolutely cannot. That thing will shred your armor
tried?
in no time. Yes, I have
I
tried.
haven't thought about that in a while, so
I've tried. Yes,
It
I like
hurts.
to. I usually corner bait the purple beam
Mhm.
because you can bait her to just doing the entire duration without taking any damage around corners. It's pretty cool.
Mhm.
Yeah, you can. If you position the corner halfway across her gun, the beam won't intercept, and you can still shoot the gun.
Well,
Thanks,
I
Firebug.
usually just go for the head for that.
No, I always go for the gun kill, but yeah. So any kind of tanking was pretty much out of the question without a medic.
Yeah, completely reasonable. I would have done the same thing. I just wouldn't. It's not worth it, right? If it goes bad, then you're down in the hole, and if you wipe, then you just lost all your bonuses, and you don't want to have that happen late game. Like, also, what the fuck is this? Look at that FP spam right there. Holy
I
shit.
think that was a hextuple. I could be wrong.
Damn, dude.
That's so many FPs.
It gets so spicy on that front lane sometimes.
Yeah,
And
you
just,
gotta
you
be
have to play
really...
it perfectly to hold it.
Mm-hmm. You gotta be really. You either gotta be giga aggro or just like, you know, get really lucky Z times and hope that you can pull it out.
Why
Yeah,
does
with lucky Z
hextuple
times,
sound
we held
weird?
that front hold a lot. But with the match Z times, it did not work out for us.
I actually also have a confession to make. Our first match, Wave 10 kite, I'm like 90% sure we would have won it. But I told my team this, but at the nearing like maybe 150, 160 Zeds left, I think there's still at least 5 of us alive on Wave 10 during the kite. But there's one point where we're running through the middle, and I like turn around to check the front, and I thought it was a Gorfian, and I raged a Scrake, and I think I killed 2 people.
Oof.
It must be in this
Yeah,
next rotation here.
Yeah, probably the next one right here.
Yeah,
That's such an
Mir got caught
unfortunate-
out on that one on the survivalist move speed. Which was really bad, losing our primary healer on the kite.
Yeah.
I also like hindsight 2020, but afterwards we also thought like I could have ran if we ever had the kite, I could have just ran Mo's and Hemo.
Yeah, we should have put a Mosin and a Hemo on the kite. We all
Well, Mosin
realized that
can't
after
carry
the game.
anyways.
Even just with the block, because it turns into the mini GSO.
Oh yeah, it's right here. I'm pretty sure I started shooting that Scrake around the corner because I thought it was a Gorfian.
Wait, Tamari, did you disable the parry or did you disable the block entirely?
Oh yeah, I shot it.
The
There,
block- the
and I
block
think this kills
entirely.
2 people.
What was that, Tamari?
The block entirely is disabled. It just RMB doesn't do anything.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, right there. Pice dies. I think Damn Guy dies next. No,
that
Dom
one's-
dies. All right, Dom dies.
Yeah, that-
Probably.
Dang, that's
Someone
unfortunate.
else dies.
I remember these comms. It was so painful hearing Dom going, "I'm not gonna make it, guys. I'm sorry."
Did you try it? Did you try at any point running Carbine Sharp?
Not as far as I'm
no.
aware. We had Carbine Survivalist.
Yeah, that's fair.
Uh,
Carbine Sharp can help a bit because they can seed their own lane.
Oh, that's Scrake.
yeah,
Was that the same Scrake from before? It was, wasn't it?
It probably was.
probably.
Because it ran from the others.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
okay.
that's actually so painful. Like,
Yeah.
I'd be so angry at myself if I did that. I mean, like, obviously it was an accident, you know? Like, just, like, sometimes your brain just be like that at times. I've done shit like that, too, but it's just like, damn, if that, like, ended up resulting in that, I'd be super pissed off at myself.
Yep.
Yeah, I think we would have definitely won the match there if all 5 of us were still alive, but that single rage scrape literally killed 2 of us.
Yeah, you could. I think that if you had actually finished that wave, you would have won your round.
Yeah.
Yeah, and look at your score. You would have gotten another 150 for beating the wave, so you'd be up at like near 3K again. And then, as long as you kill the boss quickly, you'd end the match with at least 2,900, 2,850 maybe, which is really
Yeah,
good.
I think CSE only ended up getting 2,500.
Something like that. Yeah, I had it.
Yeah,
open
this very easily could have been an UU victory.
They got 37.96 for the total between both games,
Yeah.
but with
CSE
that,
put together
20,
25.
25, yeah.
yeah, for that first game, right?
Yeah.
So we would have rivaled their score on the first.
Yeah, 28-25.
And then if we'd managed to present them that kind of challenge, they probably wouldn't have bone crushed on wave 10.
I respect that strategy though.
Oh, I
Speaking of
got
which,
lunged here as well. It was so unlucky.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Get to pick up the bone crusher, anyways.
He didn't get to pick it up. Yeah, he didn't put it in the right position. He got pushed away from it. Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah, Coco even bashed him there to cancel the follow-up attacks, and he still got lunged.
It's
And
just
then
like,
I'm on single Deeg. There's
Yeah.
nothing I can do at that point.
yeah, it's just GG's at that point, unless you manage to get like some insane corner kites. Like the most you
Yeah.
could have done there is like, I mean, with this many Zeds left in the wave, there weren't very many. Let me see really quick. There were only.
I think there was like 8.
Yeah, you probably could have ducked in the
17.
building. Ducked in the building and just try to abuse corners as much as you could, so they can't you gain some distance on them, but there's still very little you can do.
Or at the first
Yeah.
round had done a different attack.
I freaked out, and you can see me missing like every shot at Skullcracker right there.
Yeah,
Because I lost my composure at that point.
understandably. I mean, that's a tough position to be in.
All right, y'all. I'm gonna go get ready for my practice today.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good luck on the practice.
Yep. Good luck.
We will finish this up here, and then yeah, you can watch the rest of it later on when I post it. Thanks for joining us, Jenny.
For sure.
See you, Jenny.
Take care.
Yeah, if you guys don't mind, I'd want to move on. I'd like to move on to CSE because we're already past the
totally.
hour and a half mark, and then we can finish this up.
And if
Sorry,
you
I
want my
talked too
thoughts
much.
on CSE, I commentated that match.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll finish up with that, and then no, it's all good, by the way. I mean, I also was like talking about random tournament stuff during the middle of that, so. All right. So anyway, catch you later, Jenny. If I don't know if she already left or not. I think she did.
Bye.
Oh no, you're still here. Yeah.
Bye,
Jenny.
Catch you later. Thanks for joining. So our next match is going to be the Chainsaw of Enthusiasts, which is the latter half of the match that we just got done talking about from Ooh. So let me swap over to that. That's not the right video. Yeah, here it is.
The masters of meta.
Yeah, so CSE all tournament long has used the classic meta composition of 2 Sharp, 2 Gunslinger, Medic, Commando. And they've played it really well for the most part. I mean, they've managed to just basically overpower everything through sheer DPS, and it's actually, in my opinion, what allowed them to actually complete every single objective. So I think, I don't think it's correct to say that they're the first team that's gotten 100% objective, because I think, well, no, I don't know, are they? They might actually be.
They are.
Yeah, they
Yes,
are.
they are.
This
Yeah.
was the first time.
Yeah, no one's.
There's always been a spicy one that the rest of us backed out on.
Yeah, because even in YOLO week 1 on Hellmark, they didn't do wave 10, and
Yeah.
so this is the first time we've ever seen a team do all of the objectives, and they did it, and it surprised me because they didn't even have any chaos perks, so they just completely overcame it through just sheer DPS. And like later on in this video, there's that the wave 4 on scenario B. It's like on top of those large stairs. We were talking about that when we were talking about YOLO. The difference between how CSE approached it and how YOLO would have had to approach it is that CSE had the extra sharpshooter, so they had more freezes, and they had the long distance takedown capability. So they were able to just, and that's what we'll see. Like Kyrim and Dur were able to just completely take apart all the FPs from long range, and because of that, they were able to just keep the hold. But yeah, they did all the objectives, which is really impressive. That's extra 1,600 points, and I think they wiped, right? They had an unfortunate wipe because I think someone went the wrong way. I think it was Shanix. It just like he accidentally ran to the wrong.
Shanix, and then somebody followed him. I didn't catch the name.
It was their healer. It was Melon. She went with him.
Okay.
And because of that, Dur and Bagels, I believe, got caught out because they got cut off. You know, since they took a shortcut.
Yeah.
But other than that, they played super solid. Like they have all tournament. Like this is basically what we expected them to do. And It would have been interesting for sure. Going back real quick to what you guys were talking about with your match, if you would have pulled off the dual NMB, I wonder now like what would have happened if you would have forced them to have to do an NMB to match. That
If we cranked out 3Ks on both, probably, because I've seen Elmo's score estimates. They were estimating towards like 2,800. So, if I'm recalling that correctly, Elmo, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, but that was like pre-match. When they wiped here, I was actually projecting about a 3K.
Yeah. Okay.
It would have been really close.
Yeah. It was best chance.
They could have still won even without matching NMB, but they would have had to play perfectly to do it. If they messed up anything, it would have
absolutely cracked.
Yeah. Because you're talking about. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I actually have some info about that because I talked to some of their players after the round ended. So if we pull out the NMB, they might have felt the need to also go NMB because it's hard to calculate the score, right? When you're like during the match or like just before the match, you don't know exactly what score you're going to get because you haven't played yet.
Yeah.
So they felt like they might have had to pull the NMB out, and thankfully from our scouting, we were right. They never practiced it once. So if they had to pull it out, it would have been definitely harder for them than doing their medic for sure.
Yeah.
I like to think it might have rattled them a little.
It most likely would have in that case. I mean, I think it would have rattled anybody, just like because it's pressure, right? It's extra pressure on top of the fact that you have to win to like actually progress in the tournament further. Yeah. So it might have been enough to push it over the edge in your favor, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just interesting to think about. I really like. Do you wonder? This is not necessarily related to this round, but I do wonder if something like that might happen in the finals. Like, what if like one of the teams just like does dual NMB again and then forces the other team to match, and like that would be very interesting.
I'm wondering if with their level of player experience, CSE might bring NMB to the table because that's the old school way to play.
It's doable. I mean, it is one thing to keep in mind about finals is it's 60 now, so it's definitely a little bit harder now. Or well, no, it's a lot harder to be fair.
Yeah.
The map is harder. The settings are harder. This is the only round where I've actually increased the max matches. And I'm not gonna lie to you. The only reason I did that, I actually said it specifically. I think I told Elmo this. I specifically said that I wanted to avoid ever changing the
You told me that too.
Literally, the only reason why I did it is because of how fucking insanely cracked both of these teams are. And they just both of their teams just absolutely fucking destroyed both matches, or both their games when they played in semis. The only reason why CSC wiped is just because they didn't practice the kite. But I think had they would have absolutely destroyed it as well. So it's like, well, I need to challenge them a little bit more, so that's why I turned it up to 60. But
yeah, CSA basically administered an absolute stomp until the wipe.
Yeah,
and it was just over everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what to say. Their sharps, their freezes are really on point, getting multiple larges whenever they needed. And their gunslingers, I mean, I know Shanix personally, so I know he's a beast, absolute beast. So
yeah, he is.
They just played extremely well. Oh, so that's how the wipe happened.
Yeah, Beardy was trying to go for that Bone Crusher that he bought, which I think was really smart. Like, I get what he was trying to do. He just wanted to have it available just in case he needed it, right? And the 70% reduction and all, but he didn't place it far enough back, so the QPs overtook him before he could pick it up.
Yeah, he placed it in a spot where he could get trapped, which was not the best.
Well, no, he placed it up like further than that, but he tried to go back for it. And
I thought it was under that shed. Sorry.
No, as he was trying to loop back around, he got kicked into that corner, and that's what ended up killing him. That's really unlucky.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say about Shanix too. I mean, Shanix played with me as well. Like, you have more history playing with Shanix than I do, Coco. But like for the speedrun tournament for Flux, Nude and I had a team for that, and Shanix was on our team, and that guy was a fucking beast for our team, dude. Like, he's actually he's a cool dude, and he's also like a really, really good player.
We played with Shanix a little, and just like, he never has a problem on his lane. He never gets overwhelmed. He just walks over everything in sight. We played a Biotics Lab 64 with him on BLV2, and like, he called me one time for help on his lane. I was playing Slinger. That was it.
Shanix is one of the most reliable players I've ever played with. Like, he's when we were doing our stringer practices for when we were playing in the tournament, he was always available like every single time. So that's why, like, luckily it turned out because that unfortunately we had to swap some people from CSE at the beginning of semis, and Shanix just happened to be in the overflow pool at that time, so I just ended up putting him in for them. And
Yeah.
I knew like putting him in, like they'd be fine. Like it would solve all of their problems because he's a super reliable player.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this match though was just crazy, man.
Yeah, not discrediting any of their other players.
Oh yeah, of
I
course.
also got a chance to play with all their other players as well. They're all amazing players.
I've never played with Dur, but I've been so impressed with his performance. I've played with everyone else, but I've never queued with Dur. But oh my god, going from Slinger to Sharp, and then just stomping on it the way he does, that Santa's Workshop performance on the crazy lane.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god.
So Dur is an old friend of Apathy's actually. For context, he and Apathy have known each other for a while. They used to play a lot of Team Fortress 2 together, from what I understand, and that's how Dur actually got introduced to the tournament, was because Apathy mentioned it to him, and he ended up giving it a chance. And he's actually been I actually talked to him directly after the Santa's Workshop match, and he was saying that he's been having a lot of fun. So I'm glad. I think if we have another one, he'll probably be around for that one too, and we'll get to see some more really good Sharp gameplay. By then, I'm sure he'll be a lot better too, even more than he is now.
Yeah. Apparently, he used to be a suicidal player, if I'm remembering what Elmo said correctly. He was, like several of us, like me and Code, he was recruited directly into CD from Sui.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. There's so many players that have come from so many different difficulties. It's hard to keep track of sometimes.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's actually kind of crazy, like how many people we have in the community that are playing actively now. There's a lot of people, so it's sometimes just hard to keep track of. But yeah, I think you're right about that. I think he came from Sui, but he'll probably correct us if he watches this and hears us say that, and we'll find out. But yeah, it's unfortunate that we didn't have anybody from CSE here. I actually would have preferred to get at least like one person from every team for this video, but like it just would have been too many people. There would have been like 7 people in here, and that's why I ended up just like I just knew I wanted to get some new people on here that we hadn't had, and that's why I asked you both to be here if you wanted to. And I'm glad you guys came in, because it's cool hearing you guys talk about the tactics. Like I'm sure they probably had something up their sleeve for Matriarch too. I would have wanted to know what they were deciding to do. And again, maybe if one of them is watching this, they'll reply or something in the comments. And
if I remember what Melon put in media correctly, it was fully buff the Commando, tank the blasts, blow up the arm, and then Commando moves away while everyone else draws the Matriarch aggro, nuke her down.
I see. And they'll probably get EDAR extensions or something like that.
Yeah, EDAR extensions.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, that's pretty. That's what I would have expected most likely from them. And knowing Beardy too, he would have wanted to go get those extensions. Beardy just he has to get the 6 every time. It's like a drug.
Him and Dom, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, the first match though, again, they just completely clobbered it. There's really not much to talk about. Like we were actually kind of struggling to find things to talk about.
They were the only ones who didn't kite wave 10 match 1.
They just wrecked it, dude. Like it was crazy. And then that I want to go to that hold now real quick, since we were talking about it on wave 4 on B. Because again, this was the only team that even attempted those. Everybody skipped them except for this team, and they actually did it, and they did both.
We didn't even try it in practice. We looked at that, we went, nope, and moved on.
I even did that, admittedly, when I was picking it. I was like, okay, like, the other ones suck. This is the only one that I could think of that is remotely doable. And, yeah, I'm just going to put it in. And, like, I wasn't surprised that people didn't pick it. Because it just sucks. Like right there where I was looking just now in the video, like, that spawn really sucks ass. I keep opening my context menu, but that drop down just sucks. Like, especially if it spawns husks. If you're not looking at the right time, you just get like 3 husks that fall in on you, start flamethrowing you, and then yeah, it's just barbecue chicken time, and it's not fun.
Yeah, we looked at that, we went, those are medium bombs in the middle of the position. No.
Yep. And it's unblockable.
Stairs aside, the stairs were bad enough.
Especially NMB, who are not going to do that.
Yeah, that's definitely, I don't blame you guys for that. That's what's fun about the score system, is like to do some of the bonuses you have to kind of like almost give up other ones, because it's just too, they kind of play against each other in a way.
Yeah. We originally talked about maybe running our Hellmark comp again with the Berserker and the support for this, but then we looked at CSE's lineup and went, we need to NMB.
Yeah, I feel that.
But a lot of these objectives would have been good with the Hellmark lineup. The main hold just would have been awful with a Zerker.
See that right there, what we just saw in the video there, that's exactly what I was talking about. Like, the fact that they had an extra sharp instead of having a firebug like Yolo did, Kyron was able to just completely delete that FP right there.
Yep.
And there's,
Yeah.
just get it down before it ever becomes a factory. Go ahead.
Yeah, their sharps are absolute beasts. Kyrim and Dur. Oh my god, these guys can like take stuff out from anywhere. Absolutely amazing to watch.
Yeah, they're incredible.
Yep, it's pretty nuts. Yeah, Kyrim is probably like, I don't know, like it almost felt wrong like putting him in group 2. Like it almost felt like he should be in 1 because he hasn't played as much as the other people in 1, but like he's definitely got like the skill set for it. It's just that like I ran out of space, you know? Like there was, when I was going through the signups, like there were the obvious people, right? Like Diamond Dog, for example. Like that's pretty obviously a group 1 choice. And then like I ran out of space because I had to organize the groups in such a way where everybody would get equal amount of them, you know? So they had to be a specific size, and that's like one of the pitfalls of the way that we assign the teams and everything. But we did the best that we can, right? I think it worked for the most part. Like
we did the best we could with the player pool we had, and I think we've come out with a good tournament.
Yeah, I think like it worked decently well. I wouldn't say it worked as well as I wanted it to, but it did better than I could have hoped for, though. So I'm not gonna complain. And yeah, I mean the fact that we've just been able to actually play the damn thing has been also a big help as well.
Yeah. But like with the groups, like I was actually just barely in the mid slot for hours of CD. I was pretty much at 50 hours of CD. So just linking back to what Coco was saying earlier about like the low experience count on our team, like yeah. I was barely a T2. So
yeah, but the beauty of this is that if we do this again, which we probably will, I mean
I hope so.
I would like to. I just told everybody though, I was telling the staff before that if I do this again, I need more help though on like organizational stuff because it's just too much for one person to do.
Yeah.
Especially someone as busy as I am. I've got too many things going on outside of KF2 stuff, and it's like, it's a bit. I mean, I'd be lying if I said that it wasn't. It hadn't taken a lot out of me because it really has. Like I've actually I know after Santa's workshop, dude, I was just like dead. I slept for like an entire day after that weekend. Monday was just
through a crazy marathon on that one.
I was just like,
dude, same.
Yeah, me and Elmo were both. I felt sick on Monday that week actually, because I just didn't get enough sleep. And like next time I do this, I need more help for dedicated staff that aren't playing, so that I can actually have people like help me do things like posting the announcements or handling scheduling matches or handling I don't know, like swapping out the practice servers. Like when the new round starts, like I have the files preset already ready to go, and I just like hand it off to that person and they install them for me. That kind of stuff. Like we'll figure all that out next time, but as long as I've got that, I'd be more than happy to do another one of these. It's just I would need to take a little bit more of a back seat next time, I think, because it's
you kind of did everything for this one. My goodness.
Yeah, I did too much, I think, but it's worth it though. Like I'm not like upset about it. Like I think in the end of the day, like looking back on it in the future, I'll be happy because seeing all the people having fun and like the fact that like we've had, by the way, we hit I think 55 viewers on one of the streams. I don't remember which one it was now of this round.
My most viewed one was 57 overall.
57. That was the one. It was yours. It was your stream, which was for the UU and TSG. I think it was UU because I think TSG was so early in the morning. We didn't have as many.
Yeah, TSG's chat was pretty dead.
For this one, I do believe that we capped out at 48. Or like 54 or something like that.
And near the end you can see it. I think it was 48. Yeah, we have 47 right there. That's a lot of people, man.
Right.
Yeah. That's more than the entire active queuing community, basically.
Yeah, significantly more. I mean, it's there's only about like 15 people or so that are, generally around every day playing actively, so it's like 3 times that amount. So yeah, it's freaking awesome, man. Like seeing that kind of turnout is really, really like inspiring to want to do another one, right? Because it seems like the people that are watching, even if they don't necessarily know what's happening, they're obviously enjoying it enough to want to keep coming back, right? Because I keep seeing these repeat names too, so it's cool. I definitely want to do another one. Hopefully, what I was gonna say earlier was that hopefully the people who played this time, next time, they will have improved a lot more, and maybe they'll be in higher groups, and maybe some of them will even want to be captains. You never really know.
Yeah.
But yeah, my goodness. So I mean, this match was insane. Like, I still can't believe they did all of the objectives. That's crazy. Like, this is. I don't mean this in a rude way. It's just that this wasn't the team that I expected would do that. I actually thought it would have been Yolo that would have decided to go for all of them, because that's just what Jenny's like stated. Her team's goal is to always do all the objectives whenever they can. And it's just interesting that it was CSE that ended up doing it, and they did it really convincingly too. Like, they actually handled it super well.
Yeah, CSE definitely made a statement on Crash.
Yeah, for sure. I'm interested to see what they do next week. I think, like I said when Jenny was here about YOLO, like, it's anything could happen really. I'm sure they're all watching each other's videos, like these videos specifically, analyzing each other's play and figuring out ways that they can, counteract that in their own gameplay and stuff. So it'll be interesting to see. We'll probably have that like happening next weekend, like I said, and it'll be, for those watching, it'll be Burning Paris and Quarantine Breach, which are two maps that are not very forgiving maps, to say the least. So
Q-Breach, you drop one step, it's all over.
they've got a lot on their plate for this next one. I actually gave them like a pretty fucked up set of objectives too, and they're like, just the matchup is just hard. Like, it's hard maps. They get dual Abomination, dual Matriarch for one of the maps. I think it was Paris. I think on Paris I gave them dual Matriarch. I could have given it for Q-Breach, but it's like, nope, I want to give them the more open map because that makes it harder.
Also, A-Bomb on a closed map, you just rhino him off the floors and ceilings.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that freaking clip, man.
The Uwu speed kill strat.
Yeah.
Good in caps only.
Hopefully he doesn't like dematerialize though and go to a different dimension though, because that would actually.
You got to pick your ceiling height properly. you need mid ceilings for that strat to work, but they're available on Q-Breach.
That reminds me, I need to make a meme for Damn Guy for that. Yo.
Oh.
So good.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, I don't really have much else to say. I think for me personally, just going through these matches, like it was really fun watching all of them, commentating for as many as I could. Unfortunately, my internet was being dumb that day, but I'm glad I at least got to get back on it. Not gonna lie, when I first like woke up and I saw my connection was off, I was like super sad. I was like, man, this sucks. Like, I was actually looking forward to this all week, and it's the only day that I like wasn't doing anything, and then this happened. So the fact that it finally came back, though, I was happy about it. And yeah, it's just been a lot of fun so far for me, seeing like how you guys have been doing things relative to what I think might happen, and just kind of comparing those. And then the craziness that happens in the matches, the crazy like moments. Those are all things that we're gonna like look back on in the future, I think, and it'll just be fun. I don't know, it's just gonna be a good experience. I think like this kind of stuff only is really like a positive for the community. So
yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I was in the foulest mood for the rest of the day after the double wipe, but looking back, I don't really happy I participated in the tourney.
I don't blame you for that, man. I mean, honestly, that's definitely like you come in like obviously wanting it to go the way you expect it to, and then it doesn't, and it's like, I totally understand that disappointment.
Yeah. And
then you feel like you could have done more, like that kind of stuff. Like, I get that entirely. I'm the same way.
Yeah, it's like, why didn't I solo the triples?
Yeah, it's tough, but it's like, it's not always your fault. I mean, this game, like, as much as we try to like make everything static, it's not fully RNG-less, right? For lack of a better term. Like, there's still inherent RNG built into KF2 with like spawning, especially, where you can't.
And also, like, as much as people meme on ASL for being the easy cycle, you're still playing full bore CD, full bore no joke CD. So
I think the only time you can say that really is if you're playing Pubs V1. That is like definitely easier, but ASL is not something to be trifled with for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, did you guys have anything else you wanted to say about the CSE match before we move on to closing?
Just that I was wildly impressed. Holy crap, guys.
Yeah, me too.
We knew you were juggernauts, but wow.
I did join them very late before their match started, while they were doing, was it pre-match practice? I did join them real quick. And I was like, hello, how's practice going? Talking to them, and they were like, oh, it's going well. We're doing all objectives, by the way. I was like, oh, all of them. Nice.
Yeah, that's unreal. That's freaking cool. I love that they did all of them. That's awesome.
Yeah, in my projections, I was expecting 3 out of them on each, like a total of 6, because they tended to go for the most reliable ones in the past. But
That's only because we haven't talked. Well, they haven't talked about their practices and interviews at all.
Yeah.
Got it.
I promise you, on all the maps where CSE have done objectives, they've tried all objectives. Every single one has been tested.
That
Yeah,
makes sense.
it was either just decided against because it just didn't feel reliable enough, or like wasn't worth the potential risk of going for it, I imagine.
Yeah, that was the general thing. Like, if it was too risky, if it took just a minor slip up, for like, or a conceivable slip up, we would just not do it.
Yeah, that's fair. What about you, Coco? Did you have anything else you wanted to add about this match before we close up? Coco?
Oh.
I think he's
Coco, are you muted?
perhaps muted or AFK.
Yeah.
No worries. Yeah, if he comes back in a minute, I'll let him say if he wants to say anything else. But I'm gonna swap us back over to the generic screen again to get ready to close up. But yeah, once again, that was for semifinals, so we still have one more week of the tournament coming up here. Next, right now we're already in it, but the deadline for the week for the finals is actually on September 3rd. It's a 2-week long round because we are giving them two maps instead of one. So we probably won't see those matches until like a week from now. But after that, we'll have like a final video, podcast, whatever you want to call it, retrospective about how the whole thing went. And yeah, I'll try to think of something more inclusive for that one. I don't know if that's the right word for this. Like, I'll try to find something where maybe we actually do what I was saying and get all the team captains in or something. But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to seeing what happens in the next round. Again, it's gonna be Yolomancers versus Chainsaw Enthusiasts, and yeah, that's all I really got to say. I'm excited, and I think that these two teams are gonna, whatever they decide to do, it's gonna be freaking insane. So with that, that'll end it for me. Do you guys have anything in closing you want to add really quick before I end the video?
No, I don't believe so.
Just a note that I'm gonna post analytics for the final matches too.
Hell yeah.
So you'll have access to those for the retrospective.
Nice. Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, it's actually really helpful seeing it all like in one spot like that. Yeah. And I need to also get started on stats and everything too.
Next year, please automate the timestamps. Oh my god, this is such a drain on my time.
Oh yeah, well we can work on it for next time then.
Yeah, I'm just teasing.
Yeah, I need to also work with the stats too. I've been recording stats for every one of the matches that have been played. The only one that I unfortunately didn't work out for was the Yolomancers match. Unfortunately, got corrupted, so I'm not gonna have anything for that one. But for the rest of them, I looked at it again. They're all good. So we'll have some really fancy, full-on stats. Like wave by wave, percentages, ratios, all that stuff, just like for CD. So it'll be fun.
Awesome.
I'll have to get started on that and get that all I got to figure out where to put it. That's really my main thing. But anyway, yeah. Thanks for all. Well, Jenny's not here anymore, but Jenny for being with us for the short time she was able to, and then Coco, Ethereal, and Elmo. Thanks for joining us. This one went a little bit longer than I expected it to, but it's okay. Hopefully, I didn't hold you guys up or anything.
Nah.
It's always a lot of fun doing these because we get to hear some more detailed insight that we don't have time for in the regular match interviews. And then it seems like just in general, these have been really popular with people watching. So hopefully you guys watching enjoyed this as well. And we'll see you guys next week after the finals. We'll have another video for you then. But until next time, you guys take it easy. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you in the next video.